So the man in the mirror really should be, look at yourself, Joe, what you've done. There should be some compassion and reflection of all the things you've done that ended up him being in the position he's in by something as such simple as disagreeing with somebody else is how he said it. You know what I'm saying? How he demeaned them. Was his character like when he's on top, I guess, with money in his pocket and his family is good and everybody. But those are the people he robbed. He doesn't look back in that mirror and go, yo, what happened with Pun's kids, man, when they had to bring the shelter? I didn't help them. How he sees, he doesn't think that way. He doesn't have that. And what I'm saying by that, he's not supposed to if he's entitled to it. But like Pun is entitled for you to show him like love and compassion because he made you. He renamed you. He made you a dope MC. That you fool the world, everybody. He gave you the Don Cartagena title. He told you where to go, the direction to go. He wrote your rhymes and everything that you did in Don Cartagena. So he changed your whole life, career, and you couldn't even. And then the same way I'm telling you that he didn't give Pun part of Terror Squad. I'm telling you, Pun at that time when he got the $10 million deal for Terror Squad, which is the same time I got my deal, my Cuban Link deal with Atlantic Records. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got $60,000 up front, and then the rest he was in charge of. I have to explain this point just in case I didn't get in the other one. He was in charge of, so he was the green lighting or the red lighting the money. So, I only seen $60,000 up front. That's my bonus. That's it. It was a $1.4 million deal. But all that other stuff was marketing, was, everything else, the videos, you know what I'm saying? But he was in charge of telling him where to go and putting the money wherever, allocate the money to the places he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Then he had the nerve to say only, my pre-orders was like 5,000 copies, which is a lie. And that's when you could tell the liar, the same guy who told the stories that he did an album with Biggie and all of that. The same person that said that, all these things he chopped up some guys with a machete when he was 10 years old to save a lady. Those are the liars. It's the same lie. This is a serious lie, though, when he put that dirt on my name, and messing with my money, my assassinating my character, and he messing up my brand to the world by stating things like a lie like Cuban Link's pre-orders were only 5,000 copies. You even recognize that as lies at that time, where I'm supposed to be next. You know what I'm saying? That's what he did to skip my turn to promote this to the actual Atlantic Records, Craig Common, and him, siding with them and say, yo, forget about Cuban Link. I could go in. I got my album ready. That's what he did. You know why he did that? Because, like I said, he also had a $10 million deal that he was giving Terror Squad $10 deal, $10 million deal with them. At the same time I got my deal, he worked himself to get a Terror Squad deal at the same time. So he got two deals at the same time. He wanted to put that before my album. When I'm supposed to be the next one up after Pun's Yeah Baby. I mean, before after the Don Cartagena album, because it was Pun, Capital Punishment. Then it was Joe's Don Cartagena. Then I was set up to come because I already put my work in and people were expecting for Cuban Link's project to come out. But it made sense for his pockets to put out the Terror Squad album first. Because 90% of that money coming back now, or something like that, 80 or 90, he was going to get. That's his own label. So he put the Terror Squad album out. You understand? From that Terror Squad album, he came to me, Pun, and the rest of the crew, and he allocated money. He gave us a speech, you're going to work with me, we ain't got no money, I ain't got the budget like that, we got to show improvement. Because after already, Capital Punishment went platinum and Joe Don Cartagena went gold. So we wasn't up to it. I'm over here worried about my album. So he came and he said, I remember Pun specifically, going to Pun's house. Actually, I was in the office, Terror Squad office in Manhattan, and he called us over there. And I seen the list of the breakdowns of what he's given us. And it was Pun, he's given 15,000 to. It was my name, 10,000. It was Triple Safe, 7,500. Is Armageddon, 10,000. It was Prospect. I think he gave Prospect like 5,000 because he was just coming in. At that time, Prospect, was just inducted to the Terror Squad. And Tony Sunshine didn't get nothing. He wasn't on that list. You know what I'm saying? That's when we brought in Tony Sunshine. He was singing hooks with us. So this is the budget for the artists of Terror Squad the label that Pun already blew up the brand and everything. Didn't get a piece of the action as far as like any shares in Terror Squad. And he got the nerve. And at the time, like I said, Pun was getting 75,000 to 100,000 a feature and shows. He was doing shows for 75 to 1,000 to 100,000 for shows. And the problem with that, it's not like Pun was getting that money, right? Pun still had to pay Joe 50% of that. So at the end of the day, if Pun had a show for 100,000, Joe would get 50,000 of the top. If Pun had a feature for 75,000, or I mean, let's just say 100, Joe would get 50% for that of every feature. So this is how this is how the greed of, excuse my word again. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to quit it, slow it down, that word, because, I know it's offensive. And, you're right. Y'all right. We have to be mindful of what we do, especially at this age, and especially, you know what I'm saying, how we talk about the subject, because it's serious. I don't want you to get, misled. But he was getting 50% of Pun's everything. Just like he did with the publishing, 50% of that too when he sold it to Jelly Bean Benitez. So out of 350,000, which Pun sold his publishing for, he got half of 350,000 with Pun. That's why it was 25 and 25, which is 50%. And then Jelly Benitez bought 50%. That equals a whole 100%. Trying to break it down as fast as I could. But this guy was eating, and we wanted him to eat. But when is the reward back that he's supposed to give back and show his love back? Was with Terror Squad. He got that deal for $10 million. And he got it through me, trying to get me a deal. Because I said, my nigga, go ahead, give me a deal. You know what I'm saying? So he went out there, and I was hot enough that Atlantic Records wanted me. And then from there, he polyed the deal with it for himself, the Terror Squad deal. That's not enough. That wasn't enough for him. You know what I'm saying? His greed. And if he would have treated people right, it would have been understood, certain things. But we let him, like I said, I let him go, and I didn't pay too much mind to it. Of course, let me get back to going to Pun's house and Pun talking to me about this. He said, yo, my brother told me this. He said, yo, you believe this nigga? You believe this dude? I don't even got nothing in the game. I don't got nothing. He's trying to give me 15,000 Cuban. I was like, disgusting. But remember, my mom was like,
15,000 for money. What?
For the performance in the whole Terror Squad album. Not just one song, the whole Terror Squad album. He paid 15,000. That's what Pun wasn't in too many songs.
So the breakdown that you were saying was how much he was giving each person for the Terror Squad album.
The whole album to perform. And that, like every song if we have to. But we're supposed to do like one single and then do some features with each other. Like 4 or 5 songs with each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like collaboration.
So this is not stage money or anything. This is just for the album.
This is just, he got $10 million and he broke down. That was the breakdown of what he's going to pay the artist to perform, to be part of this album. But we're the Terror Squad. Like Pun is the main Terror Squad.
Right.
How you going to give him 15,000 for the whole album? And then besides that, he was getting 50% of Pun when he did features and shows. That's how much he was taking from Pun.
So he was getting like 50,000 of Pun's money per show, basically.
If Pun would do a show for $100,000, it's half of that, which he gets 50,000 just for booking a show. And he didn't, you know what I'm saying? And he didn't have to even go. Pun could go and do the show by himself, but Pun still had to break him off with half.
Wow.
That was the deal he has. That was the abuso. That was the abuse. That after a while, I know my brother came in okay, that's paying dues. Because he always just throw that in our face. They're paying dues, like I said before. So we say, you know what? All right, let me make our mark. In the beginning, he said, let me make our mark. You know what I'm saying? We prove what the talent we got, how much I'm worth. Then I could negotiate that later on, which they did at the end of the day before, And it's crazy Pun passed away, but I remember when Pun was they was in the works in the lawyer's office trying to fix that. I don't know if they came up with a number. Liza could attest to that more if they came with a number, but I think he did. That's why he did the Yeah Baby album. I think he lowered it maybe to 20%, because Miles was at 20% with Joe. Because they try to, even Pun tried to get me to have the same deal he had, like give Joe 50% of everything. You know what I'm saying? And all of that. And I was like, nah, man, you crazy? You know what I'm saying? It's only fair. I said 20. At the high, Chris Lighty gets 20%. So, you know what I'm saying? We settled at 20, and that's when he got my deal and all that. And that's when he got that deal. But then the Terror Squad album, he showed that was the situation where he's supposed to show the appreciation he had for Pun. You know what I'm saying?
Can we go back a little bit when you had that conversation with Pun, right? When he said, "Can you believe that he's only trying to give me 15,000?" You
Yeah.
said, what was the full conversation like?
It was that. My brother was really mad, but he was like just so disappointed more. Like, I can't even
So he was
believe
hurt by Joe.
I said he's disgusting, my nigga. But we was trying to find really excuse it because he did the old, yo, they didn't give me all up front. They did this and they did that. He did that to us. But Pun already knew like this thing, he playing me. But he didn't want to mess it up for all of us. That's what it was. He didn't want to mess it up for the artist, which was us, coming behind him. Because he's seen the bigger thing. What Joe wanted him to do is to abuse, for him to abuse us like he abused him. Like a Ponzi scheme. That's what it was. But I didn't fall for it, and I said 20%. I stood firm on mine, and Pun was at the end, was like, don't want to cue it. That's why when I got my first paycheck, the 60,000, I told him, yo, I'm going to give you 25%, my brother. And I showed up in his house with what's 25% of, I think I got
15,000.
15,000. So whatever that was exactly the 25%. So that's why I came to his house with the envelope and I dropped it while he was sleeping in his living room. And you know what I'm saying? I came and I dropped it in his chest. He didn't want to wake up. I think he was playing it off. He knew I was coming. The first thing I did was go over there, hit him in the stomach, and I give him a kiss in the forehead. I love you, my brother. And I gave him that envelope, with 12,500 on it. So that's what I did. You know what I'm saying? And then the flex, which was the...
Wait. 12,500? I thought you said 15,000.
No, 12,500 is what I gave him.
So that's not 25% then?
Whatever is 25, what's 25% of what's 12,000.5, the 25% of?
So he gave you 50,000 only, not 60,000.
What's 12.5? If I took 12.5 for what number?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it was 50,000.
How much?
50,000.
So then 50,000 is what I got.
Got you. Okay.
That's what, that's how I go by it. I might have messed up on the number of my upfront money. So I got 50,000. But I was cool with that. You know why? Because when Pun came on, he told me he got 30 as a bonus. And that's really 60. Because Joe took of his upfront money that Loud gave Pun, he took 30 and 30. But I thought it was always that he got 30. So 50,000 of me is like, okay, we're moving up. You know what I'm saying? So I was mad. But then I started finding out the game, started learning the game. And that's when I was like, I started catching on. And then, but like I said, I didn't put too much mind to the behind the scenes. But I remember that conversation with Pun, where it's like, yo, this dude is jerking me. And he's doing like abuse style. But we never been victims. You know what I'm saying? Like Pun took it, like, so now that I went platinum, I got to renegotiate my deal. He knows when you go gold or platinum, you renegotiate your deal. That's what Joe always told him. So it was cool with that. But then, like I said, when Joe got his money, he did his worst for the actual label. He did his own artist worst.
How do you think Pun really felt about Joe because of the way that
he loved Joe?
It's been painted. No, wait. The way that it's been painted is that they were super close.
Oh, he painted that with his own brush. But
right.
if you
he makes it seem like he was closer to Pun than even you were.
But that's why even Liza has a way of saying like, like Pun did a lot of things for Joe. Liza was, she was a witness. I was a witness. The whole terrorist party, Sage, Triple Sage, Prospect, Tony Such, he was witness of us. More Pun than anybody. Penning down. We used to have think tanks in his house, like I said, in Pun's living room, and write Joe's rhymes so he could be ready. So our brother that put my brother on to show appreciation, we was working together to make him who he became as an MC. You know what I'm saying? He's a great mimicker. He's a great person that, if he sees something, if he see Pun, that's why he sounded so much like Pun. So we taught that nigga that. We was outside the booth, and we was like, nah, do that over. Like we did the Eazy-E, what Drake did for Eazy-E and all of that. Ice Cube did for Eazy-E in that movie, Straight Outta Compton. That's what we did for Joe. You know what I'm saying? But he was a little better, of course. He knew how to flow. But his flow was old already. He was getting old. Like, he was boring. He was saying shit like mash the toes. So he was never a lyricist. You know what I'm saying? But he had the flow. He had a flow that we would work with, and he worked it. You know what I'm saying? He knew how to just fit in, and go along. And then we made him look dope. The other MCs, like myself, I know I made him look dope when he had another, like a pretty dude that he wanted to exploit the fact that I'm a pretty boy, whatever. That's how he told me. I never looked at myself as that. But I went with it, right? Whatever decisions, there was the higher ups. So I just listened, even though it didn't fit me to the point that I know I'm a lyricist where I love just lyrics and I know I can make a hardcore song where I can make a girl song. I'm just a musician like that, right? He didn't see me in that aspect. That's why it was hindering me that he took me in the avenue he took me. And it didn't really connect with the people the way he should have. You know what I'm saying? Like I proved already what kind of MC I am. I could go in any, and I have the double barrel. Like I said, it's Spanish I could do it, English I could do it. You know what I'm saying? I have so many things to me, and I was the pen. You know what I'm saying? I was one of the pens. So